Are you there, Mark?
Marky Mark and
Mark?
the Funky Bunch.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
There he is.
I think he was messing with us.
It was dramatic pause.
Dramatic pause.
Do y'all hear my dog?
Drama on this podcast.
Always tell my dog no barking when we're doing the podcast, and there he goes.
3, 2, 1, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce. You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast. Featuring Jason Fry.
Yeah, I've been just been doing what we do.
Long time listener, first time caller. Eric T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Mark Vasallo.
There would be a lot of places I would launch myself to.
Chip Carlisle. We've had a raccoon come through the screen door down in the family room.
I was a mean kid.
And Josh Ferrand. And now, broadcasting across planet Earth, it is the Knives Templars, coming to you live from PORKHouse Studios right here in Hartselle, Alabama, and scattered across the country. We are on demand, and it's time to sit back and enjoy another show of the KnivesTemplars.com. Hey guys, Chip Carlisle here, episode 85 of the Knives Templars podcast. Lots of changes going on, lots of great things happening. Saw Jason Fry out telling somebody today that, hey, come to Texas Blade Show, and I think you might have done it yesterday and submit your
today. What day is it?
I don't know. Something about submitting their 4 knives then that they could do that, and I'm hoping I can still make it out to Texas Blade Show. So we will see. If we do, I should have plenty of time to make 4 knives between now and then. Guys, welcome to one of the top 2. I hate that I have to say that, but 2 things. Kyle is on here, and I actually do. I listen to our podcast, and I listen to his podcast, and sometimes I listen to others. So by default, it's the top 2. And I have listened to others that haven't inclined me to make them number 2. Maybe they become 3, 4, 5. So I guess there's no fault in saying the top 2. Welcome, Kyle Daly. Do you ever stump for the Knives Templars on the Knife Perspective?
Sometimes, mention you ever so often.
That's very nice.
Got you here on my water bottle. Got all the
nice.
The KH Daily Knives, the Midwest Knife Makers Guild, the National Knife Makers Guild.
All right.
KH Daily Knives stickers. Yeah, got it all on the bottle there. 46 ounces of greatness.
Yeah, I got one of these Stanley cups. If you heard that banging, here it is right here for you guys that can see it. And, I was made fun of to begin with. And honestly, I don't know if it's a habit or what. I fill this thing up and drink from it all day long and eat a lot less than I used to because I'm drinking. And it's because it keeps cold ice. And maybe it's the summer months right now because I drink my share of coffee in the morning. But my gosh, these things are addictive when it comes to drinking from them. Don't know what it is. So, Mark Vasallo, how are you this evening?
I'm well.
You were swerving back and forth on the internet's information superhighway there for a while, but looks like we've got you back between the lines now, don't we?
Yeah, I think everything's going good. I don't know, for some reason this computer was not hooking up well, and then I restarted it and restarted the computer and the router, and now it's working well.
Did you didn't have to go in and take your son's Xbox and throw it out in the pool, did you?
Yeah, well, no, he doesn't. He has his gaming computer that he built. So, I mean, it probably, the internet and the whole South Alabama region dims when he turns that thing on because it has, he's got one of those big curved monitors that go around him. And I don't know. I helped him build it. It's a pretty nice system.
That's very nice. Jason, how is...
Dan,
go ahead.
Sure. Dan from Atlas Materials will give him a run for his money on the curved monitor. When I was up at his new shop, he has one that's like a 3 foot by 3 foot square that's curved. It's the biggest monitor I've ever seen in real life.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's an actual like computer monitor. It's not a TV that he just uses as a monitor.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool.
I have a large monitor with my iMac here that I'm talking into right now, but it had an old, what do you call the drives that had the rotating disc in them? The old drive.
Like a hard drive?
Yeah. And I paid like $1,200 for this thing's brand new because Apple's expensive, like back in 2013. And it ran like somebody had poured molasses in it from the get-go, and the more we installed, it just never got better. So we just never used it. My wife ended up buying a Windows computer and put it downstairs. And as I was getting ready to throw this thing away, I looked up one last time how to speed up this particular model. And as I was getting it, there was somebody had just put out, and it must be because Apple did away with their whatever you call those other drives. Rotating drives or mechanic, I don't know. Anyway, Did you say it and I just didn't listen?
No.
All
Just a regular hard
Well, it's
drive.
just hard drive versus a solid state drive.
Hard drive.
That's the words.
All right. So somebody put an article out there about installing an SSD drive, but you can't open the machine. So what you do is you go through a fire port and you just Velcro a whatever size mobile SSD drive you want to it and load the operating system on it and tell the computer to go there. Well, I put that thing on there and I went into stores and tried at Best Buy and tried some, and it's as fast as anything ever. And I've been running it like this for a few years. And it's got I've got a terabyte hard drive. The operating system's running on it, and I couldn't believe it. So I've got a 12-year-old computer that I'm running this on. It does great. Practically looks like the new ones. I've got a newer MacBook Air, but I don't use it that much. I just have it. So
I'm the opposite of the big monitor guy and Chip both. I don't have a 12-year-old computer. I've got a computer that's good enough for a 12-year-old. That's about it. I'm working off of a super cheap laptop, and it sort of works. I'm kind of like Mark. The internet wasn't cooperating today. I had to reboot just to even get anything, but it works. We're good.
Well, I mean,
So
I can't really judge you at all because that's Tyler. But right now, I don't have a laptop, and I actually take Shannon's laptop out of her office and put it in the bedroom so I could use her laptop every 2 weeks for this podcast. So,
you know, it would be a little interesting if we did that with our grinders. Right? So I've got a big old TW90 with $5,000 worth of attachments, and then somebody else is like, well, I've got a Harbor Freight 1x32.
That's right.
And then somebody else is like, well, I use my wife's grinder when she's not looking. That's a pretty good story. No,
I use my wife's grinder. Come on.
That might be the title. That might be the title.
Maybe.
I can't do that right now. You guys know I got to lay low.
Yeah.
So
Liam Hoffman might be the only person that I know that could say that.
Yeah, that's
being
fair.
Married to Tiger Lily, she probably has a pretty nice 2x72 grinder also.
Or at least you can go to her family's house and get one.
Yeah.
So
Jason, there are a
Jason,
few female Smiths out there, or grinder.
quite a few good ones. Quite a few good ones. Jason, how is the new house, man?
Man, this is my first podcast on my new internet in my new house. It is so far so good. I've been here a month today. I think was a month from the first night I spent in the house.
Yeah,
and it's all right. It's all right. I have also been working a million zillion hours. I think I hit 40 at about 10 o'clock this morning. I still got a ways to go yet, but so far so good.
But you're getting it all worked out, I bet.
Getting it. Yep. And we had to wait almost 10 days for an internet guy to come out. And then he came out to set up our internet and he said, oh, wait, I can't actually get any internet out here. Sorry. So then I had to wait another while. And I got one of those Elon Musk Starlink deals.
So you're coming from space tonight.
I am speaking to you from space, or at least I'm going through space, or I'm kind of spaced out, or something space.
Well, there you go. If I didn't say it, I think this is episode 85. That means we're like 15 away from 100. That's pretty good. Kyle, so you're at 115 right now, so we're not closing 16. In on 116. Excuse me. Yeah, you just put out a great one with Mr. Dennis Tyrell, did you not?
Yeah, we recorded the other day, and it was an awesome episode. It's always great to talk with Dennis, and
tell people why they should listen.
So I wanted to have Dennis on to talk a little bit about the Midwest Knife Makers Guild hammer-in that he's going to be headlining with. It's August 15th and 16th up in Mankato, Minnesota. We're going to have a whole bunch of good presenters, including myself, and super excited about learning some of the copper Damascus stuff from Dennis, and he's going to talk some about doing some guard fit up, and then hidden tang handle fit up and shaping and stuff. So I'm excited for those 3 classes, and I'm going to be talking about some about stainless Damascus and quench plates and foil packets and the carbide straightening hammer stuff.
When are you going to make some Damascus, stainless Damascus?
I don't know. I bought three big billets when I was at
I know you
show.
did.
I got the itch from Ira helping me make some stainless Damascus.
Isn't it a shame when somebody does that to you? Put you onto something. It's like crack cocaine. You're addicted to it. Now it's like, this is beautiful. That was a gorgeous knife. Yeah, it was a gorgeous knife.
Yeah.
Oh, and also you suddenly need $10,000 worth of tools you didn't have. That's also how it works.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm super excited. There's Jim Polling's going to talk some about keyhole handles, and we've got a bunch of other ones. Wes Waremont is going to talk some about doing some knife photography, which I'm excited about. Wes is a really great photographer. I'm spacing on some of the other people. I should have probably had that pulled up, but I'm super excited. It's at the USA Knife Maker facility. If you aren't familiar with them, they're a very big knife supply company, and they support the Midwest Knife Makers Guild a whole bunch, and they have a extremely great facility there that they allow us to use. They have almost every manufacturer of 2x72 grinder. They have an awesome Tracy Mickley right out their back door, bought a metal shipping container, and that's where they do all their forging and have all their forge equipment is in a big steel box they can close up when they're done, so they don't have to worry about anything catching on fire. So pretty cool. He's got a power hammer and press and all the goodies in there.
Very good, very good. I'm excited to hear that he's getting up there. Did he ask about me at all? Now that we're probationary members together in the guild,
I don't think he specifically mentioned you, but
we're like part of the same.
He's excited to be a part of the guild.
But we're part of the same pledge class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he missed the meeting, so
maybe that's what it is. That's what it is. I don't know. Well, I'm excited to see him getting out. I know that he is retired and gone full time with everything that he's doing right now, he's a great ambassador to like all of us are, but he stands out with his public image. Does a real good promoting things and makes some gorgeous knives. Speaking about gorgeous, you guys, if you haven't been out to TR Maker, you can go out to tr-maker.com. They make some gorgeous equipment, since 1980. So that's like 45 years ago. They've been they've offered high quality and fast service from Istanbul, Turkey to every country in the world. You need to check out their line of knife making tools to make your job easier and more precise. You can't do without their products once you discover them. I've been talking to TR Maker, Mr. Ucell this week, and they've got some secret new products about to come out, which is quite exciting. Also saw that they were shipping their grinder. Seen a lot of them going all over Europe, and I've inquired about what they may be doing over here in the States as well. So more to come on that. More to come. Mr. Mark, what do you think we got
what do you think we need to lay out on the plate tonight to dish up for everybody?
Well, I think we always should go by who's on. Originally, I had thought we could talk a little bit about knife edge geometry and sharpening angles and stuff like that, which would be a good good subject because I've been doing a very standard process in edge geometry and at some point I've been watching a lot of other stuff and so want to change it up at some point, but so want to be a little bit smarter on that. And then I don't know if you want to discuss it, but I think I can bring up that like that little story about somebody trying to get me to say they're going to buy a knife and have me ship it to them, and then once I was like, hey, this is my payment process, they deleted their Facebook account and got off. So
I got one of those too. That might be a good rabbit to chase.
Yeah, and so I think once they know that you're not gullible, they leave. So my guess is they're trying to do that to a lot of folks.
And also, I have made a couple sketch what I call them
Shegamatic.
Shegamarker. There we go. Shegamarkers. It's pronounced SKJ. I was trying to pronounce my own K and J in there, but Shegamarkers. I can talk a little bit tonight about producing those and where people can find resources to build their own etching processes as well. And also, I sized up the transformer on this one and getting more volts AC and DC out of it. So I'm kind of anxious to see how well that does, and might end up trying to buy a, what do you call that device that you can adjust the amount of energy called
like a potentiometer?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like a potentiometer. I didn't know if I was going to say it right or wrong.
A knob.
Yeah, it's a knob.
Well, I can go to Lowe's and get a knob and put on there, but I got to have something on the backside of it in the box, or do I? Anyway, that's one of the things.
Make sure when you put the dial on there, make sure it goes to 11.
11, because it's one more.
Well, why not 10?
Well, the funny thing is, I need to think, because I know we haven't got there yet. We'll go on to other topics, but I do have something funny to say. So I'm out in the shop today wiring this thing up, and I get to my bench and I plug it in and I turn it on, nothing. And I'm like, this thing's wired up. So I unscrew everything and I take it out. I look at it. I go through all the wiring diagram and it's all put together right. I close it back up. Nothing's wrong. I undo wire nuts, screw them back in, turn it back on, nothing. So I spent like 10 minutes trying to figure this out. And then I just went and sat down at my bench, and it was hot, so I was going to get a drink out of my Stanley cup. And there was a little container sitting in front of me called fuses, 1 amp fuses. I forgot to put a fuse in it. And I disassembled it, unscrewed it, and all this other stuff, and back together because I forgot to put the fuse in it. Then it worked beautifully. So anyway, Mark, take us on down where we need to go. First topic. Go for it.
Well, I think the first topic would be good to just discuss potential fraud. With folks trying to buy stuff from you. So I'll give you the story. Is that so? I got I posted the last set of knives, EDCs, those smaller EDCs that I make. On Instagram and Facebook on my business Facebook page, and got 2 messages and said that, hey, are you hey, I want to buy one of these. And I was like, well, these are already spoken for, but I'm making another set of 6, and when I post those, you can buy them. And he's like, okay, so then it was, about a week later, he said, hey, are those ready? I'm willing to just buy one before you put them out there, so I know I get one. I was like, oh, okay. So it's really sounded like somebody who was just, interested, truly interested in it. And so, I, went back and forth for a little while, and finally they were, getting closer to be done. And, it was at the point where I'm getting close to putting scales on them. And so I started, I said, hey, listen, I haven't put scales on this thing yet. Instead of me just kind of putting what I was going to put on there, if you have a color or type preference, and I have it. So I took a picture of what I had available, I sent it to him. And then he responded back. He's like, what's your payment process, or what's your, I said something like that. And so I went through it, saying that, hey, this is how it's going to be. He's like, well, can you just send me the knife, and then once I get it, I'll submit you payment. I was like, no, I can't do that. and then I said that, and it was probably like, I don't know, an hour or maybe 2 hours later, I texted him back and was going to try to like work through it with him, because I was like, hey, if you want a knife, I want to try to find a way to get you get a knife in your hands. And then it wouldn't go through. My messages for some reason stopped saying could not send. And so then I was like, well, that's odd. And then so I tried to look him up, and it says the account doesn't exist. And so then I just found that he deleted the whole account, on there. So
Facebook deleted it.
It could be. I mean, that could be too. Didn't think about that. But he has not tried to get back in touch with me since then. It's been, I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks.
Let me tell my version of my story, then we can pontificate on the whole concept. So I had that K-bar that had the M1 carbine parts, photographed by Jim Cooper. And one of the cool things about doing that is that he posts the picture to his Instagram, and he's got a lot more followers than me. Mm-hmm. Right. So usually you pick up a few, but this time I got an Instagram message that said, hey, I want to buy that knife, or is that knife for sale? And I told him the amount, and he said, okay, cool. So we started talking like you feel like you're getting a bite, right? You got to reel him in. So turns out he says he's from Brazil. And I can tell by his English words that, that's not his first language anyway. Turns out he's from Brazil. Well, I'll sell a knife to Brazil, man. It's all good. So I was like, I kept the dialogue going, and he said, well, in Brazil, they steal it in customs a lot, and the taxes are really high. So what I need you to do is only put $100 value on it. And it's worth, by the way, like 25 times that. Okay. So he said, I need you to mark it $100 so that I don't have to pay so much taxes. I was like, well, I mean, that's fraud, but it's fraud in Brazil, and it's your fraud, not mine, whatever. If you'll pay me the money, that's we're cool, I guess. Yeah. And so then he said, no, I need you to send the knife, and I'll pay you when it gets here, because it sometimes takes a month or a month and a half to get there. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not how it works. I said, I don't know how it usually is in Brazil, but over here, we send the money, and then we send the knife when the money gets there. And he wasn't having it, and so he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. You're going to send it today? Are you going to send it today? Over and over. Every day it was another message. And I know a few Brazilian knife makers by name. Okay, I don't know them personally, but I know them by name. And so I said, all right, give me some references. I rattled off about 3 or 4 Brazilian knife makers, and I said, can one of these guys vouch for you? He's buying a $2,500 knife. The master smiths in Brazil ought to know his name. Mm-hmm. And so he gave me a name of an American knife maker that I'm familiar with. I won't out him in this story. And so I reached out to the guy, and he said, yeah, he did the same thing to me. And the money's been in the mail for like 3 weeks, but he says it's coming this week. Ooh, it's like red flag number 99, right? Yep. so based on that guy's advice, I told the customer, no, I'm not going to ship mine until that other guy gets his money. I want to make sure that this process works.
That's right.
If somebody can vouch for him, and I gave him some names of some Brazilians. I ran him past the one Brazilian knife maker that I know, and nobody had heard of him. So all I kept getting was, are you going to send the knife today? Oh, I'm going to get out of this deal if you don't send the knife today. I mean, just classic manipulation stuff, honestly. And so I said, nope, I've decided that I'm not going to send a knife until that other guy gets his money and you can show me somebody to vouch for you. Well, he didn't like that. He just kept going. And so finally I just said, okay, looks like we're not going to be able to make a deal then. I turned him off. I just blocked him altogether. And I checked back with the guy, with the American knife maker, and I do not believe that he has gotten his money yet.
Wow.
And again, this I think the knife he had in play was over $2,000.
Oh my gosh.
So,
and it's probably really good for, I mean, it's a good tactic for high dollar knives like that because, folks are itching to sell those.
Oh, we are.
They're like,
yeah, we
hey,
are.
that's,
sure.
I mean, that's a decent paycheck. So when you get a bite, and maybe you haven't had a bite for 6 months on that knife.
That is exactly right. That is exactly why it works. Yeah. So I mean that knife, I kept trying to tell him, no, that's a half month's wages. I'm not just going to mail it to you, because you said you're a nice guy from Brazil. What you got, Kyle?
I had a different story of that, and I had somebody wanting to buy some knives. This was through Instagram, and they asked me to send them some pictures of the knives I had available. So I did a screen capture and went to my website, just went down the line, and they asked me what the prices were. I'm like, the prices are like on the right below the pictures.
On the picture.
And then like, I don't trust ordering stuff through the internet. I'm like, well, you're using Instagram. I don't really understand. And so he was like, I want to buy this one or 3 different knives. It ended up being like $800. And he sent me a PayPal thing, and it said that he goes, and it was some sort of like weird link, and then when you clicked on the email where it's from, like you can type in whatever you want it to display, and then when you actually click on it, it shows you the actual email address, and it was something not at paypal.com. And he goes, oh, that's because you don't have a business PayPal account. I'm like, I sure as heck do have a business PayPal account. And he goes, well, you need to send, or I'm going to send you the $800 or something. It was some sort of like, I'm going to send you something in good faith, and then you credit it back, and then whatever. I'm like, dude, just order it through my website. And then like a couple hours later, his account was completely gone too.
Gone.
So so I would strongly advise people to stick to some sort of ordering procedure. Just sending money, friends and family, through PayPal and stuff like that is sorry, I'm burpy. It's extremely dangerous because of PayPal's seller or buyer protection stuff. All they have to say is they didn't get it, and PayPal just yanks the money, even if you don't have it in your account. If you have your bank account linked to have the money go to your bank account, they'll pull it out of your bank account.
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure how they're allowed to do that, but they can. And a knife maker I know in Michigan had that happen. He sent somebody 3 knives, and they paid through, but then they told PayPal they never got them. And he even gave PayPal the tracking numbers of where he shipped them, and the person said he never got them. So PayPal pulled the money out of his account. So definitely got to be careful. Make sure you have it ordered through the website, some sort of confirmation that they actually ordered it and paid for it, and that you shipped it. So be careful out there.
That's a mess. My instinct is that if it seems kind of funny, it's probably funny.
That's right.
It's kind of the way. I don't know if I'm naturally suspicious or not, but kind of I've learned
just
to
a little
trust my
stitious?
gut. Just partially stitious, not super.
I like cash.
Yeah, cash money is pretty nice. I will even take a check from known customers if it's people that I know or can get a vouch for. I'll
There's
still
people
take a check, but
there's people I know that I'll ship knives to before I get the money.
Yeah,
because I know them and I know what's going to happen. But
Yep.
if I don't know them, I like cash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I've
taken a few.
Go ahead.
I've taken a few checks, and I just wait a couple extra days to make sure everything clears and the money's in there before I ship the knife after I get it. So
Yeah,
I just let them know. Just let them know it's going to be a little bit longer.
Yeah, Zelle bank transfers, checks. I've taken some cashier's checks, and so on. So I have enough of an online presence and this, that, and the other. They can trust me or they don't. Either way, I'll find somebody to buy what I'm, got. I think there's just too many people, and like you mentioned with PayPal and others, where they don't really look favorable on bladesmiths anyway. It's just way too easy. Yeah, it's way too easy. And then if you want to argue back, I mean, they're just going to shut you down because you make knives. So it's not a win-win situation. I know that a lot of people that do use PayPal. I just choose not to. When I made fishing lures, this is not a tent story, Kyle. We should have a tent moment with every episode. No, we won't. No. When I made fishing lures, I used PayPal exclusively and loved it. But these days I just kind of stay away from it. And the other online processors, I think I mentioned to you guys, I'm looking at using one that's out there that's more conservative based.
Yeah, conservative thought based. I wish there was somebody with a lot of money that would step up and just do all the credit card transactions with a low fee for all of us knife makers. Mm-hmm. Somebody's out there with a ton of money. A lot of knife makers would be hugely grateful to have a little bit more reliable, less worried credit card transaction fee for our products.
I think the main problem is consolidation as a result of government regulation, is my understanding. So, like, if Chip wanted to start sharppay.com, right, and all it was a knife payment processor,
not the dog you're talking about, Sharp Payments, right?
Correct, not Sharpay, like no Sharp Pay. I just made up a logo for an invisible company.
There you
go. If you wanted to start that, there's huge regulatory and institutional barriers. Like, they would call you a bank and then you'd have to follow all the bank rules, or they'd call you a payment processor and then you have to follow all the payment processor rules. There's one set of regulatory barriers. But then on the other hand, there's some practical barriers too, like security, right? Mm-hmm. We trust that because PayPal is freaking enormous, that they're not getting hacked on a Tuesday and sending all our debit card numbers to China, right?
That's right.
But sharppay.com might be confused with a dog watching website, but sharppay.com, you'd have to build that, right? Or else outsource it, use somebody else's payment processing security stuff. It's a long climb, I guess, to get there from scratch. And it's the credit card companies that own those payment processing things that are causing the trouble to begin with, right? So it's super consolidated because of the regulatory hurdles.
Well,
okay, I'll turn my libertarian off now.
No. I love your libertarian, but because I'm thinking, like, with recent developments and opportunities, could be the possibility that people always joked about they make the Only Knives logo. I may actually have to come up with an Only Knives website and
there you go.
Put some type of payment platform in it. But the problem is you're right about the banking. Those things are so locked up. The only way new banks or new things evolve, and this is just my opinion, I'm not basing anything, that you already have to be so connected and basically a rich organization within the industry that's already into banking that already
you almost have to buy out some existing thing to get their infrastructure. Like, you couldn't start it, I don't think, even with $1 billion.
Yeah, no, it's beyond our abilities. So now
Elon Musk, I'm using your internet, dude. Like, figure this mess out. Quit blasting rockets to Mars. And just make us a useful payment system.
Yeah. Well, I think what it comes down to really.
Wasn't he one of the people that started PayPal?
He was
involved in it early and made $1 gajillion off of that. Yeah.
So he already did it once.
And he certainly has enough money to do it again. So, but that's probably small potatoes. That guy's he's the Tony Stark of our generation. With that being said, though, kind of going back, do you trust do you trust who you're selling to? Gosh, it just really comes down to sometimes just gut feeling and using processes that some people are very comfortable using the services, but I think that if the hair stands up on the back of your neck, and I think that Jason and Mark both, gave us that impression, the hair was standing up on the back of my neck. It's better to forego that sale when somebody, don't be in such a hurry to sell your knife that you don't pay attention to your own good business instinct.
Yeah, and here's that sounds easy, right? When we're talking about it here, right? But let's say Jason did not have his other amazing job that he moved halfway across Texas, which is really halfway across the country, to take, right? And he was financing his kids' meals through his knife selling business, right? Like if somebody offered him $2,000 for a knife,
that was my mortgage payment for the month for 2 months.
I mean, it's really hard. It's easy to talk about it and say that you would don't be gullible or anything like that.
That is fair.
But when somebody is in that situation that they need that sale because this is their livelihood, it really your brain is really second guessing yourself a lot to try to decide, hey, is this worth the risk? It's tough.
And that's where I would get into the, if it's somebody in the States, it would be along the lines of, well, I tell you what, so that we can make this legit, you go ahead and have a cashier's check cut by a bank and have it sent to me. Somebody just did that with me recently, had their credit union issue me a check, and the credit union sent me a notice that the check was on the way, and I sent the knife with that. And that's where I was talking about using a cashier's check. So there's ways to do that. But honestly, in this day and age, even if you're concerned about it, Zelle is connected to practically every bank out there. And you can go off someone's email address, send them a money request, and they just pay directly from their bank account into yours when you send it to them. The money's there and you've got it. There's nothing they can do about it at that point. And in this day and age, even when we were buying goofy little things out of the backs of comic books and this, that, and the other as a kid, or anything you purchased, you paid for it and you'd receive it. Always said, was it receipt in 6 to 8 weeks or 8 to 12 weeks, and you got it in 2 or 3. So I think that the bottom line is there's this whole thing with, we'll send it to you up front. That doesn't even exist for Amazon. You got to pay for Amazon before you see the material come to see whatever come to your house. So if somebody's arguing, hey, you put it in the mail or send it to me and then I'll pay you or this, that, and the other, just make the payment. And if you don't get what you're looking for, we have legal recourse for that. Open up a what do you call the small lawsuits?
Yeah, small claims court, civil lawsuit. Class action is totally different.
Small claims court or something.
Yeah, go to small claims court and sue them. If they're too far away, then they take the risk. But as an artist, I'm not willing to take a risk on something that's a long decision for me, and making something and sending it off to them. So,
or they could just meet you at Blade Show, right?
They could, and it's really buyer beware. Know your knife maker and their reputation. Knife makers, don't trust anybody if you haven't got to know them or know who they run with.
Instead of buyer beware, right? It's seller beware. It's instead of the caveat emptor, it's the caveat venidor, or
I was kind of talking out the side of my mouth, saying buyer beware, know your knife maker, that they're going to send you what you purchased from them.
No, that makes sense.
It's just a good decision.
It goes on both sides, right?
Absolutely. So let's hit that angle. So there are famous stories of knife makers who have crashed and burned their businesses by taking money in advance and not delivering knives, right? Again, even in that I will not name names, but that's kind of the cardinal sin almost in this industry. So yeah, if you're the same way, if you've got somebody stringing you along or acting funny, trust your gut. Trust your gut. And if they're a member of an organization like the Knife Makers Guild, we can chase them for you. I mean, that is uh, part of our package deal is that we represent the customer in and also the quality of our makers in terms of not just is this knife cool, but ethics and business practices. So if you've got somebody from the guild anyway messing with you, let me know. We'll figure it out. So
Hey, there you go.
there are not many other consumer protections in the industry, but we do offer that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, with all that being said, Mark, break out your guitar. It's a mighty fine picking there, Mark. Mighty fine picking. Hey, guys, you're welcome. Guys, if you haven't been to Pop's Knife Supplies, go to popsknifesupplies.com. They've been around for 40 years. They provide some of the best equipment, supplies, and advice you can find throughout the knife making supplies business. Go out and check them out today. And also check out Ameribraid Grinders. They have some of the best grinders out there. I saw today they've got a new platen that flips back and forth, so you can go from slack belt to back to your platen in just a flip of a lever. And they've got great accessories for anything you're looking for on the market. So take a look at one of their 3 packages, whether the Foundations Masters Mastery Foundations or Get Grinding. See what's right for you. You can find them at ameribraid.com. Mark, you wanted to talk, talking about grinders. I guess you wanted to talk about grinding angles and this and the other.
Yeah, we can. That would be good to start. Really, I and I bring it up because, right now I'm pretty much just doing some kind of flat grind, and I started with a super thick edge. Right. Like I look at some of my first knives and I'm like, oh my gosh, the secondary sharpening bevel on that looks like some people's like actual bevel. So, and I thought it was pretty fine, but, I've been getting, finer, thinner and thinner on the edge, especially since after I got my, my heat treat, dialed in and, I'm more comfortable with with the steel holding up, and so I've been getting finer and finer, which I'm good with. But that's it. It's just really narrow, edge. And then I put some kind of sharpening bevel on there, depending on the use of the knife. But there's a lot. I see a lot of people, leaving it thicker and doing like a convex at the edge, or then doing some, like for kitchen knives. Kyle, you had that S grind. I think you had at least one S grind, on there, and a lot of folks were picking that up off the table on Blade Show and looking at that. And so, just really wanted to ask everybody what they, for the different use knives that they have, what kind of, what's your edge geometry look like, and what kind of sharpening angles you guys using?
For me,
Chip,
it
how about
greatly
you?
depends on.
Or
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
For me, it greatly depends on what the knife is going to be used for. A boning knife is going to have a different geometry than a vegetable cleaver, something like that. So, or even some of my bushcraft knife stuff. So on my kitchen knives, I usually go 10 to 12 thousandths at the edge before I sharpen it. and then that's usually, I don't know, 20 degrees per side. I don't really have anything that's like super setting of my angle, because on my kitchen knives I do most all those with a stone, so I'm doing those all by hand. Not like a wicked edge or something like that
Oh, okay, yeah.
can hold the angle super precisely. Um, but I personally feel like that's one of the ways that's helped me to get a consistent bevel all the way up. Just doing it by hand, goes slower and stuff like that. But I have used a wicked edge. I owned a wicked edge for a while. That just took so long to work through all the grits and to get it through. So um, yeah, for my bushcraft stuff, I'm more around 20,000s or so when I sharpen it. And then yeah, sometimes if I know who the person it's going to, I'll even go a little bit thinner, because I want to make sure that they know what they're doing. I've sent a couple of knives to some chefs and stuff, and I went down to like 5,000s on some MagnaCut before I sharpened. And the professional chef that got that has been super impressed. He went almost an entire year using it, 10 to 16 hours a day in the kitchen before he had to do a significant sharpening. He would hit it on a
On a steel,
A ceramic.
on a ceramic
Oh, okay.
rod.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Every so often, and then but yeah, before he had to do, he felt like he needed to do an actual sharpening. It was almost a year. So
Wow.
yeah,
So
pretty
that was
pretty crazy
that
what
was
some of those steels.
you went to 5,000. That's something that you went to like 5,000s on in MagnaCut and then put like a 15-degree edge on.
Yeah,
Like something. I mean, I know you weren't measuring the edge, but like a finer edge in your bushcrafts, of course.
yeah. So it was about 15 to 20 degrees aside.
Okay.
Doing it by hand. So yeah, I would imagine you're probably somewhere similar, Jason, or
Yeah. So I, for a long time, didn't really measure. Okay. I used my ichrometer and minute of eyeball angle measures. But kind of like Mark was saying, my first few knives, like I still have number 5, for example, that I made from a
Mhm.
file. And man, that edge had to be 55 thousandths or 60. I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
It was very, very thick. And so I had this huge edge bevel. And so, I've skinned a lot of deer with that knife. I've used it a lot. I know it cuts. But what I'm trying to get to is not conventional wisdom. It's practical application. Like, is it really? Is it really? We know the numbers kind of. I'm with Kyle on 20 or 25 thousandths on a hunting knife is kind of what I shoot for. Uh, on a kitchen knife, let's say 15 or 10. But again, I'm making my kitchen knives for not professionals. I'm making them for the dudes or the housewives that would like a nice knife. They're tired of just having good knives. They want a nice one, right? So, my audience is not as refined on chef stuff as Kyle's for sure. So trust his numbers there.
oh,
But when I
I still sell a ton to
I'm sure
the
you
home
do.
cook too.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
But so when I spec'd out my White River, for example, I specified 20 thousandths. So if I had the choice of what to manufacture and pick one, like I say, I chose 20 thou, because it's pretty thin, and that's the kind of knife I like to use. Again, skinning deer, done it my whole life. You can get one skint with one of those heavy ones, like a Anza or a some big convex edge thing. I mean, if you get it sharp, it'll cut, but it's not fun. It's not pleasant. It doesn't just laser. Yeah, measure it, Kyle. See how close they are.
It's funny you said that as you're talking, right? I have my converter up because for a lot of things I'll use inches and standard measurements, but for like my edges, I always end up using my calipers on millimeters. So I'm trying to figure out like, all right, 20 thousandths is a half a millimeter.
Okay.
and so that's what I and so and then 10 thousandths is a quarter, right?
Quarter.
So
Yeah,
that
I
would make
guess so.
sense. Half of a half, and so but yeah, so I guess that's probably close to. I think that's what I'm putting on is on my current EDCs. I've been doing a 0.5 millimeter, edge before sharpening.
So let me chase another angle there. We're talking about thickness behind the edge. Is the way I describe it. So
that's a good term. Better term.
It's not the edge bevel itself. It's right at the top of the edge bevel. Like how thick is it before the final edge bevel starts? Is where I measure it from anyway. Another thought I wanted to chase was it depends a little on what you're doing, right? So when I was building a specific hunter, I spec'd it at 20 thousandths. But if I was, but I grew up skinning, wild pigs under 200 pounds and white-tailed deer again under 150 pounds field dressed, right? So I'm a medium size game skinner. If I was skinning a moose, I think I could get it apart with my knife because I know my knife very well, but it might not be the best tool, right? So that was something I wanted to explore was, do you go a little thicker if you're building a 8-inch blade for skinning moose or something, or or elephants, or do you try to attack that with a really thin geometry? I mean, I'm outside of my. Wish Steve was here tonight; he could tell us about South African game.
Yeah, if I'm designing it to go through bones, I'm doing more of the bushcraft 25 thousandths or so, like on my boning knife that I make to like spatchcock chickens and stuff like that. Going right through the best or the breastplate and kind of pulling down. I'm right around 25 30 thousandths there for that one, because it's needs to have a more durable edge than something that's going to try to finely cut delicate leaves or stuff like that,
sushi,
lettuce or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to say sushi.
You want to say
with tomatoes is an interesting thing for cutting.
It is
because you can have your knife too sharp for somebody cutting tomatoes. I've experienced that.
Tooth.
I sharpened it and went up through the grits and used the diamond emulsion. Went up to 1 micron diamond emulsion, and it would cut like standing hair, like not or above shaving sharp. And when you would go to cut a tomato, there was when it would go on the flesh, there was nothing for it to kind of like bite down in it. It just rode across the skin. And it like wouldn't cut it, but you could like shave the hair off your face. So when I took, I used my 1000 grit stone and then just did a couple of deburring things, and it cut through the tomatoes like a laser, having some more
just a little tiny bit of tooth. Interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. So it kind of depends. They're like for kitchen knives. It depends a lot to get the performance that you want out of it. But I mean, like somebody that was going to be like butterflying chicken breast or something like that, that would be exactly what they wanted. But so.
Yeah, and I haven't experimented with that too much personally. I mean, I've skinned things since I was a kid, but we started with the Lansky because that was the most precise way to get a consistent edge. But that fine Lansky is what, 600? I mean, maybe 1,000 tops.
The sapphire one, I think it's like either 15 or 2,000. It's like really. I got the Lansky and got like the super.
You got the bougie one, yeah.
Yeah, but it takes, again, it gets to the point where, depending on what you're sharpening, it takes a long time to get through those. So
yeah, when I was trying to sharpen those 40 thousandths edges from zero to, from scratch, when I first was first making knives. It's like, well, the Lansky is how you sharpen them. So I take this 50,000 edge hard piece of mess and take a month to sharpen it. I hated it. And that's why I quit the Lansky. It's because I was using it incorrectly and it made me mad. But yeah, so I grew up with that. And so, I've never really tried the Kyle Daly standing haircut, ridiculous sharp on a hunter. Everything's been 400 or 600 and then strop it a little bit and roll. So I'd be interested in hearing from people that have pushed it on flesh cutting, on deer skinning. If there's somebody that listens to this that wants to send us a comment at knivestemplars.com, I'd be happy to tell some stories about other people's experiences on ridiculously sharp knives versus deer compared to a regular edge. But anyway,
I think
I'm not
it's
the
funny.
person for skin. I'm not the person for skinning. I've never gone animal hunting, not because I don't agree with it or whatever. It's just too early. I'd rather go fishing. That's more my.
You also sort of live in Chicago,
so.
which is not really known for its outdoor activities.
Right next to a lot of people go up to Wisconsin. There's a ton of stuff there. So
makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense.
We just went walleye fishing on Green Bay when we were on vacation. Had caught some big uns there. I caught the smallest one, the good eater size, 18 inches, and then my boys and brother-in-law, they caught 4 other fish that were between 22 and 25 inches. So
that's good fish.
Had some good good
that's
walleye fish fry.
What you just said is the standard, right? Like if you catch the smallest fish, you always just say, "It's like, hey, that's the good eater size. That's what I prefer catching." And so that's I've always used that. It works well.
It does.
Yeah, for walleye, I think it was they had to be above 15 inches.
Okay.
And then there's no upper limit, but usually once they start getting above 20 or 22 inches, a lot of the guides usually try to throw those back, unless you have only caught just a couple of them. We only ended up with 5 fish for the day, but they usually put those back to help with the breeding stock, keep those bigger fish genetics in the bay. So, but yeah, we ate them. So one of the other guides that he was friends with that we knew also, they caught a 29-inch one out on the lake, out on the bay, and they threw that one back. They got some good pictures of it. Apparently, there's a big market for reproduction taxidermy for those bigger fish. That they do a pretty amazing job recreating making it look exactly like the other one.
Cool.
Oh, nice. It's kind of like that fish on that movie On Golden Pond. You ever watch that long time ago? Kind of boring, semi-boring movie about a kid and his grandpa or something like that.
Golden Pond.
Yeah.
I was a kid when I watched that, and I'm old enough to be the grandpa on it now.
That's right.
But, and that makes me think of such an abrasive comment. I want to talk about Phoenix Abrasives. They have great prices, selection, quality, and delivery. You can get all types of belts, discs, rolls, wheels, and anything else that you need to get the job done right. If you put in Templars 10 or KP10 at checkout, you're going to get 10% off your next order. And go to New Jersey Steel Bearing to get you some steel. They deliver high quality steel for your blades and steel, and they've handled all of your steel needs since 2010. Man, I'm stumbling tonight, but they have steel water jet services, heat treating, and much more. You can get them at NewJerseySteelBearing.com. And the way reason I was stumbling over that, I got an email from their marketing advertising type person today asking, well, we would love to consider working with you guys on the show, and what you're offering is free advertising and a mutually beneficial relationship.
how many listeners do you have a month? And I'm like to myself, well, that's not really important. I just offered you something for free. And don't get me wrong, this isn't the guys over there. I think it's Peter and the other guys. They are the most wonderful guys in the world. This was someone trying to do a very nice job, trying to promote their business in a marketing sense. But hey, I still say go to them. I'm just keeping our listeners to ourselves. I know we have at least 3 more listeners than Kyle Daly's show.
Tonight.
Well, I don't really know if we do or not,
because it's us 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't really know if we at this moment there's 3 more listeners than there are on Kyle Daly show, and I'll be listening to yours after tomorrow, Kyle, in the shop. So we're good. We're good.
On Phoenix too, they've got a new website. Make sure you check that out. It's a lot easier to use.
Yes.
That's been the last 4 or 5 months ago they've released that, but they're also got a new line of ceramics, the Phoenix Fire, they're calling it. It's supposed to be a heavier backing and a cheaper, lower cost option for some of the ceramic belts. They also have the 60 grit incinerator belts. I love the incinerator for the 36 grit on MagnaCut. Excited to try some of those 60 grit ones for the MagnaCut. And then Greg sent me a picture, and they've got some of the purple Bora 7 ceramic 9-inch discs that he cut out. So hopefully we can those test well, and Greg cut some more out for me.
Oh, so are they going to start selling those?
I think so. Well, he's wanting me to try them out first. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's not going to have the pressure sensitive adhesive on the back, but they buy buy the big rolls. So they cut me out a couple, and I'm going to give those a try.
Yeah, just save you from buying a piece of. I mean, actually, if you get it in ceramic, that's great.
Yeah, I use a lot of those. I'm kind of moving more towards 80 grit as my starter on the disc, using 60 grit off the belt. So I usually do on my belt grinder my 36 and 60 grit on the 2x72, and then I usually was going 60 grit on the disc grinder. But I've been buying some of the 80 grit discs, and I feel like that helps to just not kind of go or stay the same, or like progress through the.
Are you using 80 grit with a rubber backing, or right on the plate?
What I have been doing is with a rubber back. It's a silicone backing. So the current PSA ones that Phoenix Abrasives has, I feel like the stickiness is pretty sticky. Sometimes if you leave it on there after you've used it for a couple days, it gets really hard to pull it back off. Broadbeck sells a silicone pad that you can put on there, and that helps to be able to put it on and take it off really easily. It doesn't stick to the silicone very hard.
Oh, okay. I have to try. So I I don't know if it was silicone, so maybe I have to try that. I ordered I don't know, it was like a rubber backing pad from True Grit when I got my disc, and so I haven't really tried it out yet. But I don't know, that I like that idea of the silicone where it will release a little bit better.
I just put like a piece of 1/16 PSA gasket material that I got off of Amazon. It was like, I don't remember how much it was a long time ago, but it came just as a 9x11 sheet, and so I just
cut it in a circle,
cut it off in a circle.
Yeah.
I use some of the. I don't use it on my flat disc. I only use it on the 1 degree. So I only grind bevels with it. I don't flatten handle material with it. I guess is where I'm going with that.
Yeah,
but it seems to work.
Yeah, I've got the Nielsen disc system where it's a magnetic hub with the different metal plates, and I use I've got a bunch of different rubber stuff for that, and then I've got some of the white and black rubber that I use on my sanding sticks on those discs that have the feathering adhesive that I use to trim the 9x11 sheets of sandpaper on. But being able to use some of the ceramic, especially when you're doing a MagnaCut chef, that ceramic really helps a lot. So, Well, we're way off topic now.
We are.
It's okay. It's okay. This is
we're still talking about knives. That's how it works.
Yeah. But yeah, Phoenix. It was great. Just having the table right next to them, end up talking to them about all sorts of stuff throughout the show.
Yep. I'll tell you though, one more plug for him is that when I was doing these last batch of knives, so one, I'm using this waterfall platen now, and so I don't know how I made knives before I had this waterfall platen. I mean, it is just so nice to get my plunge lines perfectly even and perfectly, like almost perfectly smooth. They since it's going in that belt direction, sometimes you get that chatter that maybe gives a little bit of a groove in the plunge line. But since I'm using the more shallow radius on there, it's easier to sand it. That if it was sharper, I think it'd be harder to get in there. But yeah, I love that thing. But with that story is that I meant to buy from them, and maybe they didn't have them. I can't remember. They have now the 120 grit ceramic J-Flex. And so, because you want a J-Flex that's going to go over that waterfall platen, or you're going to just pop all the grit off, I guess. Like I couldn't imagine running a stiff back over that, but yeah. And so I have finer ones. I have like 400, but again, it was just way too slow. And I was like, a 120 grit would really kind of speed this up, and then I can get close and go with the finer grits and really clean up that edge. And so I called him up and I was like, hey, how quickly can you get me some of those 120 grit ceramics? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll put them in the mail tonight. And so, talked to Greg, and again, it was great seeing him and working next to him at the Blade show. But yeah, they threw him in the mail. It came, right away. Just super service. And he's like, hey, what else do you need? And it was they've always been super helpful. So I'd say the customer service with them is just amazing.
They have some blue 220 grit ceramics also that I use a lot.
Yeah, I think I had the blue. I think I had the 220 grit ones. But I had to get the but I wanted to try the 120, and the 120s were really nice. I guess I'm leaving them a little short, because what I found is sometimes when I'm going on with the shallower, I don't know, the bigger radius plunge lines that I've been trying to do, just a little bit larger radius. Sometimes I can feather it in and get it really close with the platen and a stiffer belt. But again, sometimes I'll go in a little bit deep, and the one angle's a little bit deeper, and then when you try to, I don't know. So I just found that the 120, leaving it a little bit shorter and using that 120 grit to start on that waterfall platen was amazing. Plus, I think it kept it cooler because I didn't have to put as much pressure, on there with the 120 grit. And those, if anybody's used a waterfall platen, I found that mine heats up a lot because you're going over this super fine edge, and it builds up a lot of heat on that little tiny corner. So, but either way, that's off the subject. But yeah, just wanted to really say that, hey, they did a great job on getting me some belts out really quick.
So that is wonderful. That is wonderful. I have been working in the shop today, working on something last night, and I've made something for Mark. And what's he doing there? What were you doing there, Mark? Oh, pump it up. Pump it up. So yeah, today I finished up a second etching machine, ACDC etcher. And I got to give credit where credit's due. That's a design from 2003. Whose design was that, Jason? He's not talking. He's on mute.
My kids are fighting in the background. I had myself turned off. What was the question?
It was who designed that etcher originally back around 2003?
Chris Crawford.
You go, Chris Crawford. I knew you know it. You're a plethora of information, being the president of the Knife Guild.
Usually, only useless information is what I'm.
It's good.
Handy, I guess.
It's good. So I
I actually came across it because I think that there's some really nice etching machines out there, but us people, we always like to make things ourselves if we can. And I saw that, there's a lot of people out there using 9-volt batteries and chargers. And of course, I took a battery charger from AutoZone and hot wired it to be able to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that if you know how to do it. User assumes all risk associated with it. But then I saw that Red Beard Ops was had built one, and I've watched that video for a few years, and finally decided just to really pay attention and go build one myself. So I went into his website notes, and it had an equipment list, and I found out that it was pretty darn accurate. He also had a schematic laid out, a wiring schematic, and did step-by-step putting it together. Now I've memorized it. I can wire all that spaghetti together with no problems. But basically I went out and I had, because there was a lot of extra, I had to buy some stuff in bulk. And I ended up making one for about $100, the first one. And the second one, I had enough parts from the very first build that I just went out and I think I had to spend like $50 more to build the second one. And that included the purchase of a transformer, and the switches, on-off switches, and the 3-way switch, and this, that, and the other, fuse holder, power light. But, my bridge rectifiers that help you switch between AC and DC, were all included. Now, I've posted that out on my Facebook page if you want to see it. But it's interesting, on the one that I made for myself, the very first one, I was getting like 14, 15 volts coming out of it, a little bit higher on the AC side. And then I put a little larger transformer because we need more power. I put a larger transformer, and on the second one, I'm getting out, what was it, Mike? 25, Mark? I think I was getting 25 and 28 volts AC, 25 DC. And I'm like, man, that's really going to blow some holes through knives. So I'm actually going to test it out tomorrow and see what type of etch it does. And they both, if it etches great, I'll decide which one I like the best and sell you the other one. But and I'm joking, of course. But I was actually quite excited for that. So I am just letting you guys know that if you want, Red Beard Ops has a really good tutorial out there. And as he says, you assume all the risks. None of us are electricians. We're following the diagrams. I understand basic wiring and all that stuff. And I learned a lot through this. And that's the really neat thing about it. I learned a lot about bridge rectifiers and how it switches between AC, DC, and all that does with the diodes and such. It's a great learning opportunity and lets you own a little piece of your shop that you've put together. Not quite as extravagant as Jason going to go out and build his own hydraulic press. Now that's a job there, baby.
But it's the same level of ridiculousness mixed with industriousness mixed with I'm too cheap to buy one. I mean, it's the same thing exactly.
Yeah. Can I make this?
Your time is free, right?
Well,
we don't get paid.
no. But I was quite excited. So all I'm doing is just telling people, encouraging them. If you're using a 9-volt and you're hooking up a couple wires to it and you get what you're looking for, that's great. On this other model that I've built, which is a step up from the battery charger that I've got that I won't throw away as a backup, I found this to be quite good. Now, if you want some dedicated equipment out there, I've seen where you can spend $295 up to $1,400 on some etching equipment, and they're nice machines. I'm not saying they're not. I know, like, Kyle's got a very nice one where you can dial in the power and stuff that you're looking for, and that's the only thing I'm looking for on this one. I need to do some more investigation and see if I can put a what'd you call that, a pantomime there, Jason Fry? I need to put a pantomime on it.
Potentiometer.
Exactly. Potentiometer. So if I can see, I can dial in. And also, I've already seen where I can go out and get a voltage meter for AC/DC, just the same thing that they put on campers, and be able to measure the AC/DC on those as well. So I may have a third edition coming out if I don't just upgrade the two I've got.
So, Mark, what say you, man?
The
Go ahead.
the foot
Kyle.
switch, the foot switch with the timer, is one of the features that I really like too. Because especially when you're using those higher voltages, higher powers, your electrolyte bubbles. So you want to make sure to let those bubbles escape under the pad. So I do like 3 10-second etches with the wand, lifting it off and putting it back down to let those bubbles escape. Otherwise, I don't get quite as a consistent of a deep etch. So that you might want to see what it might take to put a little timer in there also.
I will look into that and see. It's amazing, the things you can your mind gets to thinking when you see how you've wired it and what else can I add to it, make it a little bit better or this, that, and the other. But right now, the first one I made has really nice results. I really like that. I went out and bought my stencils and quit making them on the Cricut, which is just fine too, but went out and bought my stencils. And one thing I noticed is that when you've got your stencil down on the steel, you can go down a little wetter than I thought that you could, because it's really just etching from where it's open in the screen itself. So it's a little wetter than I thought it would be. I thought that if it got under there, it would just run the circuit and just keep on running and run off with your etch somewhere. But I haven't seen that thus far. Now, Kyle, do you do a DC etch and then go back and AC it to get the darkness down deep below afterwards? Okay.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I usually I lift it up and I wipe it to get some of the grit and stuff out of there, and then put it down and then do the AC. One of the other great tips is so I use wide electrical tape. They don't usually have it at like Home Depot and stuff. I don't know why they don't. Everywhere that sells it, like locally, it's like stops at 3/4 of an inch wide, like the standard electrical tape. But I buy 2 and 3 inch wide electrical tape. I mainly just buy 3-inch now. But I use that to protect my bevels, because the electrical tape has no acid in the adhesive, like some of the painter's tapes and stuff sometimes do.
I've learned my lesson on that. So yeah.
Yeah. So I use that to protect my blades. Also, that's a lot thicker than the painter's tape. So if it gets hit and stuff, it's a little bit more protection. But what I do with my stencils is I take that 3-inch wide tape and cut a little notch out of it. So like a lot of people do like 3 different pieces of tape, like 2 vertical and 1 horizontal, to give a little more space around their stencil. But sometimes you can get the electrolyte and stuff going around there. Having that bigger piece just keeps everything a lot more protected while you're doing your etch.
Gotcha. I'll keep that. I did actually buy some of the wider tape when you had recommended it, because you had told me you guilted me on one episode when you said, or is it in our chat, and you say, well, didn't I tell you that? I think it was over the cans that we bought. So now I've learned to listen and go ahead and act on whatever Kyle says. So
nice. Yeah, the 3-inch wide stuff isn't too terribly expensive, like $10-$12 a roll. So it's not like break the bank, because like even regular electrical tape is getting I don't know, $3 to $5 a roll. So
yeah,
that wider stuff really helps to get a good coverage all over the whole bevel, especially when you're making some wider kitchen knives and stuff like that.
Yeah, I pay close attention to what Kyle Daly does these days. It seems like you've got a pretty decent you've got a pretty decent business plan. You're forthcoming with information. You're always willing to help, and on top of that, you're very innovative. I mean, even your setup at Blade Show this year was quite innovative and stood out. And your knives are, others around you suffer a little bit by comparison. And I don't mean that they make bad knives. I'm just saying that you step up. So you're the kind of people that are great in this industry. So, guys, I just have to tell you this real quick. Mark, it's been so hot, no reason to jump in the water and go up to Maritime Knife Supply, but I tell you, he makes some great products and services.
offers great services. If you need anything for blade making, even products from TR Maker, you can contact MaritimeKnifeSupply.com, and they'll ship to you anywhere in the States, Canada, or maybe even further than that. I'm not sure. Do you know if he ships outside of the Canada, the United States?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I assume so.
Probably so.
If he
Good.
ships to Brazil, they probably ask him to ship it, and then they'll pay when it gets there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And then there's old Clark Iron Forge, our buddy Clark Taplin. He's going to have to get on here one of these days again. And he makes some of the best hydraulic presses, Jason Fry, that make a real difference at an affordable price. You can get yours now either in 17, 25, or 40 ton. And I tell you what, at $4,000, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. Now, if you want it shipped, it's another $700. But go out and get you a 25 ton for $4,000 a day. You want to spend a little less? You got a 17. You want to spend a little more? Get a 40. While you're at it, pick up one of his forges too. There you go. ClarkIronForge.com.
If you've never met him, be ready to talk. He talks fast and is excited. I love it, Clark.
He's got one of the biggest hearts I've ever met. His house is up for sale, and he's finally gonna. He says he thinks he's got an offer coming in. He's going to get that house out there in the countryside with the big shop where he can just go hog wild making presses all the time. And I will tell you, you'll never find a better Christian guy as Clark Taplin. He is a sweetheart. He certainly is. I learn that every day I talk to him. So good deal. Well,
I'll tell you something that I just found that I was surprised about this week.
Well, go for it.
So I was actually watching. Kyle, or in the beginning, you were bringing up that Dennis was on your last podcast, and I watched Dennis's Tyrell's one that he did about the Ameribraid grinder. And I was watching it, and I was like, all these Ameribraid grinders, it seems like the drive wheel off the motor is a lot closer than mine. I was like, that's really odd, and so, and I started looking to all these, videos that I'm watching, with people who had Ameribraid grinders, and I was like, well, that's kind of odd, even on the Ameribraid, videos that they're showing. So I looked at it, and I had I don't know if it made a difference, but I had my drive wheel, my big aluminum drive wheel on, I guess, the opposite way. And so I flipped it around, and then I repositioned. It made me reposition my motor because it has some slots in there, and you could adjust how your motor is into the frame. And then I realized, wow, now my cord is not butted up against the frame, which I thought was really odd. And so when I put it together, I was just so happy to put everything together that, it fit, so it was good, and I never messed with it. But did a bunch of adjustments to the grinder after, I don't know. How long have we had our grinders, Chip? We bought them at the same time, about
going on 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years now, and didn't realize I had some stuff off wrong. And I think on Dennis's video, I think he had the collar for his, I don't know if it was the on one of his arms, maybe it was for the flat platen or something like that. I think the collar is made so that you can unbolt the tool that is on the arm and put another tool on there, and they'll always slide into the same position, aligning with your belt. He had the collar on the other side, so you'd have to take the collar off to pull that off. And so, yeah. And then I saw how he was doing some of his guards for spark arresters, and he had a whole bunch of so it's good watching you learn stuff even after using something for 3 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, I have discovered my rotary platen. Ooh, it's nice. I don't know why I never used it.
Yeah, you keep saying that you, like, for the longest time you said that, hey, I bought this thing, but I don't really have a good use for it. I was like, man, I would have a good use for it.
Now, I did notice you can smell rubber after a while. I guess it comes if you want to hook up a cooling thing on it. I haven't done that, so I just kind of go light on it. Don't let it get too hot. And what I have found out is that I use the flat patent to a certain point, and then I'll switch to it, and it does such a nice convex edge when you do it. And that's really what it comes down to. If I want to convex the edge at the end,
but I know Kyle had mentioned that. I think it was you, Kyle. It might have been Josh Ferran said that it's really good for doing chef's knives and doing those nice convex edges all the way down them. So I don't know. I'm going to continue to experiment. So, guys,
that's nice.
What do you got coming up this weekend?
So go ahead, Mark. No, you.
I was going to say, I'm excited that our next, we tried to deconflict in Alabama with all the Forge Council groups that are here with the weeks that they do their meetings. So our Custom Knife Makers Guild meeting for South Alabama is this Saturday. So cool. That's coming up. So we're excited to do that. I think we did a list out. I talked to Josh, and we have a list of what we're going to do for the next couple of months. I think this one is going to be a standard. He's going to do some standard, not super high layer, but just like flat bar Damascus, billets. And so, and then I don't know, he was even thinking about, I don't know if that's going to be part of the raffle or the iron in the hat. And so, hopefully, we'll make a pretty nice bar, and then a lot of folks will want to put in for that. So,
good deal. I know you got a nice bar like that one time.
I did, and I still do. I just need to get my. So that's the second half of the meeting. Is when the meeting's over. I'm gonna hopefully finish up that forge that he's helping me refurbish. Really, he had an old Farrier's forge, but we took it all apart and kind of modified how cut some holes, bigger holes, so it's better for knife, for knife making. And he put some. So we put some of the what's the pour in stuff.
Borax. You mean the powdered steel?
No, for the insulation.
Castellite?
Yeah, like Castellite, yeah. And so...
I'm sorry, you're talking about a forge. I apologize.
Yeah, for a forge, yeah. And so, that's all, it's cast, and then we have some bricks around it. And so, yeah. So it's coming out pretty nice, and I have some burners that I bought. So hopefully we can finish that up this week. And then really the final thing is that next week on Wednesday, I am heading up to New Jersey to see the family a little bit, because my nephew, although he graduated in June, he's finally doing his college graduation party, and I'm gonna go up there for about a week and visit some family and head to that. I might tell him we all have to head down to New Jersey Steel Baron.
There you go.
Yeah. If I was driving up, I would definitely go, and I'd haul some stuff back, but I'm not going to put a bunch of stuff.
Tell the marketing lady I said hello.
I will if I do see them. But,
they're really good people.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I don't think I mentioned go out and get you an even heat kiln at evenheat.com.
Oh yeah,
that's right. I've got my new LB 22.5 in, and man, it's running beautifully. I love it. I loved heat treating my first steel. Even offered a friend close by that makes knives. I said, hey, if you got some 1095, we'll bring it over. We'll heat treat it exactly. Don't stick it in the fire and make it all wonky. So it's nice to be able to do that for people. So anyway, you guys go out to Even Heat and take a look at their kilns. Now, they don't sell directly off their site. Information there. I suggest you go to popsknifesupplies.com and pick out an even heat kiln that's right for you today. There you go. Sorry about that, Mark, but I throw that one in there. Yeah, they had the best customer service. I talked to Jim this week, and they're just really good people. They're really good people.
It was awesome. They were super helpful, and it was great. I've definitely been to. It was one of the, besides for my grinder, my mare braid. I was so happy with the purchase. Although it was a little spendy, I've been truly happy that I bought an oven. It's probably one of the best purchases I've made for knife making.
Well, good. Jason, what's going on this weekend? You fishing?
Yeah, I wish I was fishing. I'm going to have a good weekend though. So it has been a move, right? And everything is chaos. But my sons are coming home, so y'all know
Oh, wonderful.
I have grown men now that are out and about. And one of them is coming home for the weekend because the other one is coming home for almost 10 days on his summer break from the Air Force Academy. So I will have all 4 kids in the house for the first time in our new place. Ought to be cool. And I think my folks are coming over one day, and my in-laws may come over one day because, again, when do they have all 4 grandkids? Well, not very often. So ought to be an interesting time. We're in the middle of planning a lot of things. I figured out where my HOA is going to let me put my shop, I think. I hate saying that out loud, by the way. But I think I'm going to get to build a 16 by roughly 48, and I'm going to make half of it just a carport and half of it an enclosed building. So 16 by 24 carport and 16 by 24 building.
Got to have a place to put the boat.
Heck yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. And I might sneak the hydraulic press and forge like on some wheels so that I can roll it out there for that hot work kind of days. But anyway, yeah, so getting kind of excited about that. I'm starting to try to get some bids and really start thinking about it. Number next, we closed on our house this week.
Good.
On our Lubbock house. So we've got to pass a bunch of that money through and get it to where it needs to go. But then I get to see how much I have left to build my shop with. So,
are you able to? You don't have to go back up there to do that.
No, we're done. So we actually closed entirely online with an online notary. Didn't know that was a thing. Makes sense that it would be.
Wow.
So yeah, we went through the whole sign here thing with all online. It was pretty cool.
Well, wonderful for you.
So it has been busy. I mentioned earlier I've been working a lot of long days this week with some stuff at work and new job. But man, I would love to just be able to walk outside and piddle and make a knife or go to the lake, either one. But neither one of them's going to happen. but I am at least getting excited about getting my shop project rolling.
Well, it'll come soon enough. It will.
It's too hot to go outside right now anyway.
That's right. Too hot to fish, too hot to make knives, and too cold at home. I think that's how that song goes.
That's a country song, yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna do some barbecue with all the family?
Yeah. So we will grill at least one night, maybe 2. I'm also on call for work, so it's just going to depend on how things go. Again, chaos. But yeah, I planned on some at least pork chops, maybe some pork loin, or maybe even a shoulder. I don't know. I have to go digging and see what I have in my my place there.
Throw you a dough ball out and go get you a carp and smoke it too.
I could. I'm not quite that desperately hungry.
let me tell you, Josh Howard has been catching catfish out of the Tennessee River, and we had our thing last week with Alabama Custom Knife Makers Guild, and I think you guys know this. I gave a presentation on the guild and how people can build up and get into it if it's something they desire. It was a really good presentation. Sold some Jason Fry books, and I've still got your cash, Jason. I gotta get it over to you. It's been a long week, but I'm just passing this on. You have to try it. He took his catfish fillets, and they were all cut, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch thick, or whatever, 1/4 inch, maybe half. And he salt and peppered mashed potato flakes and rubbed them in the mashed potato flakes and then deep fried them in 350-degree peanut oil. I don't ever want cornbread on my catfish again. That was so light and delicious. I ate 3 plates full. And Josh Howard, if you listen, this goes out to you. That was some of the best food I ever had. Threw some French fries in there on top of it. Just did a wonderful, wonderful job. So.
Well, there you go. I took the boys fishing for the first time here.
Yeah.
So up in Lubbock, Texas, it's plains, and what passes for a lake is pretty small and gross.
Yeah.
and what passes for fishing is pretty dadgum unremarkable. So I'd take the
So-
boys fishing up there, and we'd catch 5 or 6 perch a piece and feel like we had a good time, you know. And I
Yeah.
say perch, I mean sunfish,
Mhm.
not you Yankee yellow perch that are actually worth catching. Um, but I took the boys here and I did the tourist thing. Like I said, hey, I'm new here. Where should I go? And they're like, go over there and get there. And it's $5 a piece, like for 7, 8 year olds. It's like, well, they're fishing. I'm not. I'm not paying. Anyway, we went ahead and did it, and it was just fishing off the bank by the marina. Man,
sometimes it's just good to watch the kids catch fish and
oh
bait their
gosh,
hooks
yeah,
for them.
they caught 25 a piece. I mean, it was one right after another, just classic perch jerking. I mean, they were it was probably the best fishing trip of their life, which
Well,
means that I
good for
haven't
them.
taken them fishing enough to have a real good experience, but they still had a heck of a good time.
Yeah, I took my boys out on the Great Lakes one time after being sunfish fishermen, in our community lake, I should say, and I took them out on the Great Lakes in my boat where I'd been going quite a bit, and it was that time of the year that the smallmouth were running and eating up big because it was spawning time, and I put some green pumpkin tubes on their spinning rods and let them through there. And I said, just reel those back in, boys. And those boys were so tired of catching pig smallmouth all day long. they still talk about it. So it was a blessing of a day. So
I
Kyle,
did that
what's
with
going
my
on?
old boys with stripers one time. We were out.
Oh
trolling
my gosh.
stripers,
Yeah.
and you
Ben-
could call your shots. They were stacked up on this hump, and you'd pass them, and you could see them on the graph, and you're like 1, 2,
That's right.
3, and then pa 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 pa. And we were catching them 2 at a time on 2 rods, so 4 fish at a time. Until we got tired of driving around, and the boys were like, "I'm ready to go home. It's hot." It's like, you have no idea how ridiculously awesome this is. We're staying.
That's right.
Yep. I haven't got the little boys into that yet, though. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, I've had striper like that before. Those are hook benders. I'll tell you what, there's something else. Kyle, what's going on at KH Daily? You're back from vacation.
I need to. Yeah, back from vacation. I need to make a couple blanks. Get those through heat treating for my my heat treat class. Make up a couple of those. I'm going to make some out of MagnaCut, so pretty much guaranteed those are going to warp, so I can show the carbide hammer. And yeah, also going to put out on their Midwest Knife Makers group for anybody that's going to be at the hammer, and if they want to bring some warped blades, we'll give those a shot to straighten them there.
So,
showing them
hey,
how I
Kyle,
do it, the process and stuff.
Let me ask you about that real quick. So, I mean, you're heat treating in an oven, right? And you're air quenching your MagnaCut in between plates, right?
Yep, water cooled.
Like I don't understand how they're warping. Like I mean, it's in between plates in a vise, right? And you're cooling it. Like how does it warp?
Usually they come out pretty straight from the plates. Then in the cryo they warp some.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
But some people run MagnaCut through an annealing cycle before they heat treat. I haven't done that. The carbide hammer straightens them out pretty easily enough. But yeah, I just haven't had good luck shim tempering, especially MagnaCut. 154, the 154 CM or CPM 154, shim tempering has always worked extremely well for that steel for me. But MagnaCut, my first batch of MagnaCut, I did like 9 shim tempers, and it hadn't moved. So,
but you're saying it's the cryo is really where it happens the most. I mean, because
I think so. And for whatever reason, I feel like MagnaCut just kind of does a little bit more because I cryo my CPM 154 also, and usually it comes out a little bit bent, but whatever. I guess just the harder stainless to roll or whatever puts some residual stresses in there that makes it want to curve a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm using thinner stock, so 110 thousandths. I know some people that use or when I did some 156 thick bushcraft knives, I didn't have hardly any warping problems with MagnaCut. It seems to be on the thinner stock that it happens to me. But
So, Kyle, are you using,
yeah, I'm going to try to
are you using nitrogen or dry ice?
nitrogen.
Okay, because I have the same issue when I do dry ice and kerosene, and I was always wondering if it was the dry ice, like if I was getting uneven cooling that was making it warp. But honestly, straight liquid nitrogen rules that theory out. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it could be some, but yeah, usually that's is all. I know a lot of people that use dry ice use
Denatured alcohol or
denatured
something
alcohol.
like that.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
yeah, I just I got super lucky in getting a really big liquid nitrogen dewar, and then we have a welding supply place that's about 20 minutes away from me that has a tank that's like I think they said it was like 20,000 gallons. That they actually have a like pump on site that separates out the nitrogen in the atmosphere, compresses it down, liquefies it. So, yeah, I'm able to get that filled for, I think it's like $60 for a 35-liter dewar. And that usually lasts me three or 4 months before it evaporates off.
Oh, that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. But I'm going to be doing some of that. We've got the mother-in-law over visiting, so I imagine we'll be doing some swimming in the pool too. And
there you go.
Luckily, we don't have a whole lot planned. My wife, I just saw, had a play date for the boys. One of the boys down the street wants to come over and swim, so we'll be doing that on Sunday, I'm sure too.
Well, cool.
Nice.
Well, I would say that I've got lots of free time right now, so I'm going to spend some time out in the shop, and when I'm not doing other things, and try and get some blades made, and maybe get some batches made and get them up for sale, just because I'll have the time to do it. And I'll be doing that tomorrow. And my wife is working with a vacation Bible school this weekend at church, so may go out and help a little bit with that. But ultimately, we'll probably be working at the shop, getting some stuff done there, getting caught up, staying productive. That's what I got planned. And with all that being said, I'll just say, hey guys, you guys are refreshing. You're a wonderful group to hang out with. Love you all. Y'all, I want to make sure that you do a couple things. I want you to keep Josh Ferran in your prayers. All of our listeners, power of prayer is wonderful. He is doing fine, but he's got a family member that can use some prayers. And also keep me in a little prayer, because I'm going through some things right now that are just fine. I will get through, but a little prayer for good outcomes won't be such a bad thing as well. And also, special thanks for these guys who give their time to come on here and do what they do. With all that being said, I know it. Yeah, go right ahead.
You might want to add Chip stuff isn't health related. Just
other related. Not health related at all. It's just the things that happen in life and things that I've got to work on, and I may divulge them in the future, I may not, but ultimately I love doing this, and I wish we could all get syndicated so we could just do this full time, just do a show every day. I'm still working on that.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Brought to you by PORKHouse Productions. Oinky, oinky, oinky.
Oinky, oinky, oinky. There we go, guys. Well, we had to skip last week, but I think we caught up for it this week, so we will. You guys did a nice job. Thanks for coming on tonight. I enjoyed you. Yeah. I hope to get Steve and some of the other guys back on here a little later, some of the other episodes, but our lineup kind of shifts around a little bit, and this, that, and the other. So
that's part of the fun.
It is. It keeps it interesting. I think Emily was on vacation. Josh is, helping take care of some things. Eric, I'm not sure. I hadn't heard from Eric. He must be away on a family event. Steve is out battling all of the wildlife in Florida, doing a very good job at that. He's being quite successful at it. And who did I leave off?
He's got that great accent when he's that South African accent when he's like, we'll exterminate everything.
and Big Hand Dave's out there in the world taking care of business too. So look forward to seeing them back all in here soon. Guys, this is in the point in the show where we all say oinky, oinky, oinky.
Hey, good night, everybody.
Good night, oinkies.
Oinky, oinky, oinky.
Yeah, good night. See you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in. Bye now.